Welcome into Chicago Bears Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Harrison Graham, back with some rumors and a little bit of news as well. I want to kick things off on today's show talking about Jimmy Graham. Could the veteran tight end get cut by the Chicago Bears? I'm going to give this one smoking J. I don't think it's super likely based on what the tea leaves have told us in recent weeks and months. Everything you hear from Nagy and Pace is acting as if he's going to be a part of this football team moving forward. Now, the reason we're talking about this today is some account on Twitter that you've maybe seen the last few months called NFL Rumors or at NFL Rooms. We'll take a look at a tweet in a second. Said, oh, the Bears are going to cut him if he doesn't agree to a pay cut, which, hey, I've been saying for months, $10 million against the cap is too high. They should explore a pay cut. But no reputable source has actually reported or even suggested this. Here was the tweet from this account. Just keep in mind that this NFL Rumors at NFL RUMS. If you see this account on Twitter, just know it's not a reputable source. This is not, there's a couple of these aggregated Twitter accounts that are legit, and they'll be like, oh, ESPN Adam Schefter reports. They don't even do that. They just throw stuff on a dartboard and hope that it sticks. There's no one reporting this right now. This account makes up stories, which, hey, they've been successful. It's popping up on Twitter topics on Twitter, so kudos to whoever's running this account. But it's not a legitimate source. You know, we're talking about it on Bears Now, so I guess they've found success with it. But don't take anything that account says as a legitimate storyline that's actually out there. Now, I do give it one smoking J because I think it's possible because his cap hit is too high. But if they cut him, it's not because NFL Rumors Twitter account tweeted so. So just keep that in mind. What should Chicago do with Jimmy Graham? Type K for keep him. Type C for cut him. You guys can let me know what you guys think on this one. I'm okay with keeping him. I'd like to lower that cap number. You could extend him for a year. You could see if he will take a pay cut. But as of now, all signs point to Jimmy Graham being a part of the Chicago Bears for the upcoming season. So we'll just have to wait and see where he ends up this upcoming year. But I do think he will be with Chicago. Now, just another note here as well. Cutting Graham after June 1st, it does save the team $7 million. So NFL Rumors or anyone else throwing it out there like, oh, they could be cutting him to save money. Like, yeah, that's just a logical thing you should run through if you're the Bears, considering you have like $220,000 in cap space, which is basically nothing. Now, Jimmy Graham last year did do a good job with Chicago. He played pretty well. He had 8 touchdowns. He proved that he can be a valuable red zone asset. And we know what he brings to a locker room as well. I like Jimmy Graham. I would like to keep him. I thought last year he proved he still has a good amount left in the tank for the Chicago Bears. The question is he worth $10 million against your cap? The answer is probably no, right? But again, it seems like the Bears are okay with keeping him for the upcoming season. Worst case scenario, he's a free agent after this year anyway, and you just let him know. But one smoking J, we'll see what happens. They certainly could explore releasing him or at least trying to get him to take a pay cut. I think after June 1st comes and goes, we'll have a better idea on a couple of roster moves that could happen for the Chicago Bears. Now, who will have the bigger impact at tight end this upcoming season? Type JG for Jimmy Graham. Type CK for Cole Kmet. I think in year 2, this is the year for Cole Kmet to kind of take that next step with the Chicago Bears, but maybe you think Jimmy Graham is still going to be tight end 1. Let me know. JG for Jimmy Graham, CK for Cole Kmet. Go ahead and get your votes in on this one on who will have the bigger impact in 2021. Now, help us reach 28,000 subscribers here on Chicago Bears Now. We are less than 500 away from getting there. 25,517. We are almost at, or 27,517. We're almost at 28K. We're going to continue to plug out the latest Bears news, rumors, hot takes on the internet. That's what we do on this show. And, of course, live shows every Tuesday, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central. Join us tomorrow if you are watching this on a Monday. Share that link with a friend. It's youtube.com/BearsNow, or just hit that big red button and subscribe. Let's continue to grow this channel together. Next up, Justin Fields for Rookie of the Year. I'm going to give this one to Smokin' Jays. People are talking, it's out there. I think it could happen under the right circumstances. And the reason I'm talking about this one is betting odds have been released on several sports books for the upcoming season. Multiple sports books have released their odds, and it has Justin Fields as the second best odds after Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The only issue here, and the only reason I'm going to give this one to Smokin' Jays and not 3 or 4, is we simply do not know when he's going to take over for Andy Dalton. If you told me, hey, he'll start week 3 for the rest of the season, I'd say, oh, he's got a pretty good chance. But if he takes over week 7, he's not going to win Rookie of the Year. Here are the odds. And obviously, Trevor Lawrence is the betting odds favorite because he's the number 1 pick. He's going to start week 1. That makes sense. Justin Fields plus 450. Trey Lance plus 650. I found this interesting. Zach Wilson all the way down at plus 800. He's going to start week 1 no matter what. Fields and Lance are not. So I found that, I think just from a pure value standpoint, you want to make some money. Zach Wilson might be the play. Mac Jones at plus 900. For Fields to have a realistic chance, he's going to have to get in there early because if he doesn't start till week 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, you're a month or 2 behind these other guys, right? I mean, he would really have to ball out and take the Bears to the playoffs if he's not going to have the volume of stats of a Trevor Lawrence, of a Zach Wilson, of a Trey Lance if he gets in there as well. He's in a similar boat as Fields in the sense that we don't know when he'll take over for Jimmy Garoppolo. Obviously, we'll monitor this, but for now, to Smokin' Jays, I need to know more on terms of when Justin Fields will actually get some playing time. Predict it for us. What do you guys think? Look into your crystal ball. Who will win Rookie of the Year this upcoming season? Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is the favorite and should be the favorite, but maybe you think it's Justin Fields. I'll say this. If Fields plays early, he may have a better chance because the Bears have a chance to make the playoffs where the Jags probably don't. Predict it for us. Who will win Rookie of the Year this season? And for me, I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence. Like, if you had to ask me, it's just the classic, oh, he was the number 1 pick. He's the guy on voters' minds. He's going to put up big stats. Even if the Jags don't win a lot of games, he will start all 17 games, barring an injury. So he is and should be the heavy favorite, but I, for one, cannot wait to see when Justin Fields will get onto the field for the Chicago Bears because I think he is going to be a fantastic quarterback. We saw what he did at Ohio State as a passer, almost 69%, 5,400 passing yards. This was just in 22 starts in Columbus, 63 touchdowns against just 9 interceptions. We know how dynamic of a runner he is as well. If Justin Fields starts one of the first few games and never looks back, he's definitely a candidate to win Rookie of the Year and could even become the favorite at that point because he's in with a team and with a roster that can win right away in Chicago, whereas Jacksonville, the Jets, I think that's why Wilson's so low because the Jets are just not in a win-now situation, so they don't feel like he could win it, whereas with Fields, the Bears could win this year. They could win 8, 9, 10 games, make the playoffs, and maybe make some noise. And if Fields is the reason they do that, he'll certainly have a chance to win Rookie of the Year this upcoming season. Now, we are sponsored by the Newsbreak app on today's show. Newspapers are a thing of the past, and if you want to keep up with all your local news, stories, and politics and pop culture, download Newsbreak, chatsports.com/BearsNB. That link will redirect you to your app store on your mobile device, and you can download the Newsbreak app. Using our link really helps support the show, so we would greatly appreciate that. Keep up with local news, weather, politics, food, pop culture, all on one feed on your phone. Ditch the newspaper. Don't go searching on 20 different websites on Google for local stories. It's all aggregated onto one feed. And hey, you also have videos from us here at Bears Now. Just search Bears Now in the search bar, and you can find more of me and other videos here at Chat Sports. Chatsports.com/BearsNB. Go ahead and download the Newsbreak app today and follow us on Bears Now on Newsbreak. Okay, final rumors roundup on today's show. How about prioritize signing Allen Robinson? Duh, for Smokin' Jays. I've been saying this one for months, going on about a year at this point. They probably should have done it a long time ago, but NFL.com's Mark Sessler brought this to the forefront, and I totally agree with what he's saying, and I even mentioned this recently as well, that Get it done, because now you got Justin Fields. You've got a promising future at the quarterback position, and if you get Allen Robinson signed long term, it just makes sense now. You could almost argue and almost understand what Pace was doing before, like, well, we don't know who our quarterback's going to be long term. Do we want to pay a wide receiver $20 million a year? Well, now you got Justin Fields. I've been preaching this. Get Allen Robinson done. Keep him in Chicago long term. He has played with some brutal quarterbacks in his career. And now you've got Andy Dalton in the short term, who's probably the best quarterback he's ever played with as well. But long term, and more importantly, you've got Justin Fields. You want to help your rookie quarterback. And I think he would be a quarterback that A-Rob would embrace and look to build with moving forward. Say it with your chest. We've been preaching it for months. Hashtag sign AR. Get Allen Robinson signed long term with the Chicago Bears. Spam it in the comments. Spam it on Twitter. You can tag me in your tweets, and I'll retweet them, because it's time to get Allen Robinson signed long term. Don't want him to play on the franchise tag this year. And the reason why is, if he can put up these numbers with the quarterbacks he has played with, imagine what he can do if Justin Fields pans out to be a franchise quarterback. If he actually ends up being the type of player that we think he can be. We know how good of a player he is. That's the number one reason you should re-sign him, because he's a true number one wide receiver. Another reason, if you sign him long term, it lowers his cap hit of about $18 million, which is what it will be this year if he plays on the franchise tag. And the Bears could use some extra scratch to go sign a couple other players if they want to. And then, most importantly, you finally got a quarterback. You got Justin Fields. You've got a guy that can build with Allen Robinson for the next several years. Get this done. I mean, if you want your eyes to bleed, look at this next graphic. These are the quarterbacks he has played with in the NFL. Blake Bortles, who is now like a third stringer in Green Bay. Chad Henne, who's a backup in Kansas City. We know what happened with Trubisky. He's Buffalo's backup now. Chase Daniel has moved around so much. He's the Chargers' backup, yet his photo is still of him in a Bears uniform. That's how much he's moved around. And then Nick Foles, who's the Bears' third-string quarterback now. Allen Robinson has played with garbage quarterbacks for his entire career, yet he's delivered like a number one receiver. It's time to pay him his respect and his due, which is a lot of money. Now that you got him the quarterback, Justin Fields, it makes a whole lot of sense. So what do you think before we sign off on today's show? Will Allen Robinson play on the franchise tag this season? Type Y for yes, type N for no. July 15th deadline to get this done. Get your votes in, Y for yes or N for no.